Okay, so today, I wanted us to come into our practice of touch with some reverence, and that's why I've lit these beeswax candles. It already smelled really nice in here. I was gonna put some dragon's blood resin, but I think we're good. No need for that. But these candles are here to represent the reverence that we have for touch and for entering someone's space energetically. One of the prayers that I like to make before I teach and before I touch bodies, I do a whole practice before I teach a class or before I touch a body. But a easy thing to remember that's simple is I ask for my ego to set aside and for healing to happen for the highest good. That's just a simple, fast thing that you can say. And one of the things that we're often doing as a yoga teacher is we're getting out of our way and trying to be as present as possible. And I would like to invite, so when we're doing this, the work on each other, whether it's Thai or yoga assists, I want us to today to honor the sacredness of touch and to have a little bit more reverence today in the sense of being more trusting more your touch and your ability to know versus I know yesterday I was like, okay, get that feedback, which I want you to, because if you're having sex with someone, you want to say that feels good, that doesn't feel good. And that's like super relevant to touch. I give that as an example because like that's what makes it good, right? When you could say, oh, stay there, please. You know, even whether it's an assist or a Thai movement or whatever you're doing, it's nice for the person who's receiving to be able to have their own autonomy of self and their own trust of self, to have that reverence with yourself to say a little more, a little less, stay. So let's stick with those words, a little more, a little less, stay. And
Or no,
or no.
like that does not feel good.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Yeah, exactly. And you can, it could be it doesn't have to be that, but something just trying to be like less descriptive so that we can invite in the listening. Because usually if you're listening, you don't need to rely so much on the words. Like you'll feel them cringe, you'll feel them like the body will go, ooh, and then you can respond to that. But if there's so much talk and there's all that, it starts to get in the way. Okay. So today I want us to practice creating that reverence and that listening so that you guys can all kind of get in your own space where you can open up this space and you're listening to everything that's around that person's body and your own body.
Can I say something?
Mhm.
So our last teacher training weekend, Ricky, when we were doing hands-on assist, Ricky was saying he experiences it as energy coming up. And then last night you were talking about how you experience kind of a sound. Part of this training is learning how do you experience your interaction and your listening? How do you experience your intuition and sense? It may be visual, it may be sound, it may be feeling, it may be, you know, whatever it might be. Part of this listening is learning how you can, here. Auntie.
That reminds me of, I was in a butterfly dome at the time when all of these, it's a geodesic dome, and it was at the time where all these butterflies were coming out, and it was like this incredible experience. And I had this lady who was this healer woman who's been doing this work a long time, where she teaches other healers and other therapists how to read people's gifts. And there's clairaudient, there's clairsentient, clairvoyant, like, we've heard that one. And then there's other ones. And she does this by teaching people how to read people's ears and their faces. So it's interesting. She looked, I was like, okay, what am I? She's like, oh, you're the, but this is similar, that we all have like something that we're inclined toward, but we can also develop all the other senses.
Yeah. So you're learning it about yourself in this process too.
Yeah. So what I want us to do when we begin today is we're going to start by touching the abdomen and laying our hands on, this is in most traditions, this abdominal area is the source, and it's the source by which the energy starts in the body, according to the Thai tradition. And there's so much here. If we just think from a mechanical, like the anatomical, like all your organs are here, are here, and it's fragile, and it's sacred. It's a sacred space, and it's often neglected with touch. And so I want to give you all the experience of actually touching an abdomen and feeling how much is there, because this is often, depending, I don't always start in the abdomen, but oftentimes I will start in the abdomen just to listen. And so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let's just, should we switch off persons, like be with a different person than they were? Or will that confuse go with the same person you were with yesterday, but we have some more people, and then we don't have some people.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you wanted to switch, just make sure whoever you're switching with is the person that received last.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do it that way.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Hands in the air.
So raise your hand if you received last night. And then whoever was giving first, pick somebody else. Give it a work.
Where is the pick?
I think.
You don't receive the gift.
Which one of you?
Did I just put down?
You want to do
I'll
belly
put
rub?
Yeah.
Do you want to belly rub too?
Oh, yeah, you guys were together. Okay.
Are we gonna switch so both people would?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds the same.
So we're gonna start with that, but then we're gonna go back to the sequence from yesterday, but just to tune in. Okay, so
Are you
I
gonna
was
get,
gonna be in the
okay,
middle.
would
Yeah.
you guys mind switching? We're gonna
Oh, the bit, this.
do the
Oh, yeah.
video,
Okay.
and then that way.
Where do you want us?
Just switch.
Oh, yeah, let's just move.
So
Alright,
these
come
two.
over here, out of the video way.
Should we just switch around these ones?
Oh, yeah, this one's still.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you talking to me?
Oh, yes. Well, no, right now, no, I'm not. I'm just feeling. Because I'm not trying to move anything. But typically, when I work on the abdomen, I do, and I'm going in a direction, I am. But,
I mean, Jason said it earlier, but that was in reference to this, but I would just make sure everyone knows that.
yeah, when we do directional, we will. Thank you.
I was just sensing that it's really sacred because it's where you were connected to your mom. With the and where she was gonna, all the way back into the earth, the mother center of creativity. And the more cultural, this is a very vulnerable place.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Men also worry about what they look like. It's true.
Yeah.
Culturally, they want big abs, you know.
Oh, yeah, this is.
Yeah, so it's tender for all of us, something to share.
So we're still just on the skin sensing, not going much deeper than that. So now I just want you to, so what, Stephanie said was that when we do, it is nice to go in the clockwise direction when we are working, like when you are, going in a direction. And, but we're just gonna grab the opposite side and
Yeah, when you say clockwise, who's the clock?
the person you're working
So
on.
this is 12 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pubic bone is 12 o'clock
Oh, you would go to 12? Either way. Yeah.
or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
To the right.
Or your hand could be it. Okay, so actually, let's just do now the skin. Let's just touch the skin all the way. Just addressing the skin layer, warming it up. And just. Hello, skin, hello, skin, hello, skin. And you might notice tightness. Even from a mechanical, biological, like anatomy standpoint, the abdomen is really nice because it connects, you know, all, this is a huge part of the tissue layer. And it's nice to actually receive and to give work on the abdomen, which we're not gonna go deep into at all today, but you know, just this little bit of relaxing helps to relieve even the fascial adhesions that sometimes sit. I mean, I was pregnant twice. Like my belly went out and back in, and I had a little diastasis, like little, you know, even losing weight and gaining weight. Accidents can create a lot of fascial adhesion on the superficial layers of the abdominal wall. Yeah, you can just touching the skin. You can maybe go a little bit deeper, and then if you want, you can kind of pull the body toward you. Give it a little rock. Rocking is so nourishing on the nervous system.
Hey, Ally,
Yeah,
what if you've had like a C-section or abdominal surgery or something like that?
this is great. Just to be mindful of that area, yeah. I do all kinds of work on the abdomen. I do scar treatments for those kinds of things. It's really ideal to work on the abdomen after surgery. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of adhesions, sometimes more than others. And then you don't. You can stay like that. And you can get on the other side to do that little rock. And you could stay for a while, but I'm just showing you a few things. You want a blanket under you? Yeah. I you can put this under your, do you want the big, like this, or fold it? Yeah. You might, if they want a blanket under them, it's not enough. Yeah, okay. Mhm.
Good.
Okay, so now. You just feel more of the abdominal walls, give it a little massage. You can do that, rocking is good. So when I'm doing an abdominal massage, if I'm doing a full session, we're like 2 hours in before I'm even touching the organs. And I've used herbal compresses, I've used medicated oils, I've addressed the skin, the muscles for quite some time, 20, 30 minutes each before I go into a deeper layer, before I even touch an organ. So if that gives you any context as to how delicate the abdomen is, and how much reverence it deserves, because it is a tender area, and you don't want to just go into the organs, because again, they're the organs. You don't want to like pump, like the spleen, for instance, is very sensitive. You don't want to just be digging around it and poking and prodding, without, a lot of, slowness.
Makes you think of like kids when you take a limb.
Oh,
You don't poke and prod.
okay, so now we just take one hand on the abdomen and one hand on the heart and just give a little boop, 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 little rocking. So I'm not doing this. I'm doing this. Okay. Yeah, exactly. I just want to see that you guys are doing that. Just this one. Here, let me move this side. Show you.
Does this stimulate the vagus nerve?
Not directly, but indirectly. Yeah, so that's, I want to see you can, yeah. Good. And then you can come out. So we were just addressing the skin layer, just to be able to give a little comfort and ease to our partner, okay? And then we'll just switch. But how do you guys feel just with that little bit? Receivers,
Yeah.
relax.
A lot, yeah.
I cared about. Yeah. Okay.
Found it interesting, the rocking thing that I noticed that I've seen stuff, that's the only time,
Oh, really?
like my shoulders started pressed, like holding down flat. Like,
Oh. Oh, in this rocking or that last thing we just did? Oh, this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Okay, switcheroo.
Get into my bladder before I get pressed. Right, I know, I had to too. Oh my goodness. Like, yeah, I like can't get up, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
5 seconds.
Do you want a bolster or blanket?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so we're gonna. The person giving is going to tune in to their own body. And you could do that same, like you're checking in with the spine, taking the energy from Swadhisthana. The Bindu, are you guys, do you focus on Bindu? And then the Ajna, and then Ajna to Bindu. Do you all do that one? Any, you got that?
Well, spinal scan here, from here to here, here to here, and from all the way down.
Okay.
Okay. Similar.
Okay, so once you kind of scan, make sure you're present, then you're just going to gently place the hand on the abdomen.
Because it's so better.
Do you want to go in the seats?
So just be silent and let yourself, once your hand touches the abdomen, just tune in. And see maybe there's a sense of yours that opens up when you're listening. anytime you notice yourself, whether you're teaching or you're sensing the body, and you start to try to come up with a reason or an articulation or a delineation of anything. Well, maybe they're have a bowel obstruction, or maybe they have a stop that. And just come right back to sensing. Staying curious, like, oh, like you don't know anything about the body. Other than your capacity to be present. And now you can start to address the skin layer. Again, it's like you're saying, hello, skin. Hi. Oh, very goody. Skin layer. So important. Yeah. And if you want, you can try that kind of pulling the body toward you on one side and then the other. So when you're in a yoga private session and your person is anxious in their belly, not anxious in their mind, this is a great place to start. If they're like, you know, when you're like, your belly doesn't feel good about it. If they're in their head too much and they've been working on a computer all day, it might be nice to just put your hands on their head. If they've been working on their feet and they work in construction or they work in some type of all the way in their body type of deal, it's nice to start with their feet. Just to give them that, okay, we're starting, you do your pranayama, I'll cue you to your breath, and I'm going to give you a little bit of touch. Yeah. My favorite thing. And did you guys do the want both sides, like the pulling? Yeah.
How far up into the rib cage do you go?
So starting out when I'm just addressing the skin, I'm addressing it like this. Gently, but you know, there's the organs that sit under there, and so you want to be extra gentle and not go so deep until almost, well, you should never go to get the organs. That's a whole training.
Don't go fishing.
Don't go fishing. But I will say that so the diaphragm sits under the rib cage, and oftentimes people are constricted, and it is nice to like teach people or to do it for them, to actually kind of strip the adhesions that sit under the ribs where the diaphragm is, because, you know, people aren't doing sun salutations and they're new to yoga. Like this opening up this space might be very difficult. So this is something that I like to teach people to do, is to work on themselves and to kind of strip all that. Ooh.
That's basically what I was at. My acupuncturist used to do like diaphragmatic release on. me,
Yeah,
so
and that's
basically
great.
what I'm
Yes,
doing.
yes. And you can do that, but
Okay.
you're focusing on the diaphragm, you know? Again, remember the intention is all that it is.
Gotcha.
You're not like digging for the spleen there.
So it's more energetically instead of physically.
No, it's still physical, but you're like, okay, I'm touching the diaphragm. And if you don't know you're touching the diaphragm, get them to breathe into their diaphragm. Yeah. And then you can feel the diaphragm contract and you're like, oh, okay, I feel it. And it's fun to actually get people to do that, because then you get to be aware of everybody's diaphragm is shaped different.
This sensation.
Okay. Okay, you guys, one thing that Shanti told me to tell you, what I did to her, is you can take both hip points. See, I have a good firm, and I'm just squeezing them toward each other.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 It's like when you're pregnant.
Yes, oh, yes. I wonder if this feels good for men.
It does.
It does? For the sacrum? Yes. Okay, so,
Yeah, can you still do this if somebody's menstruating or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about?
so remember,
pregnancy?
apana is the vayu. You guys learned the vayus?
Yes.
So apana is the downward moving wind.
Okay, okay.
And we want to always encourage apana vayu for menstruation. So
Okay.
if you're ever dealing with a menstruation person, whether it's your class or your body, you know, in a private, or you're doing a little bit of Thai love on them, you're going down.
Okay.
So, you know, we're just encouraging that. So say you worked on the abdomen, you're doing this, the clockwise. Then you can, like, do a few
Push it
sweeps.
off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you definitely would never want to work from someone feet to up.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're looking for the.
down,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, what about?
And it feels good. Sometimes like you can actually like come over here, someone's needing the apana vayu,
Okay.
and you can like boom, boom, boom,
Oh,
kind of like
okay.
squeeze everything down
Okay.
and out. I feel
Very
so
cool.
good. I
Okay.
want to do that so deep. Yeah. I don't even know if you need that apana vayu. We all need some apana.
Yeah.
All right, so this is just a nice way to get in touch with the body. Say hello, and then we'll start with the back with the leg stuff. So just watch me real quick. I'm going to show you a fast forward from yesterday. Are you ready to be flung around?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Okay, just a recap. So yesterday, what we did was we sensed the feet, we gently scooped under, and we slowly took the leg up. Gentle. I took the leg up to, some people won't be able to do it like this, and I placed. We learned that men have penises yesterday.
Actually, get in the way.
We learned.
Something that happens.
So that's, you know, something men done. I didn't realize, like, oh,
How
okay.
far?
I like to put it around here, but if you're a man, you gotta figure that out yourself. Should I put my herbal?
You know.
So you can experience. Okay, so what Jay did yesterday was he put, he to the side. Like
Turn
the side, turn your side, either side, yeah,
Oh, seriously?
yeah,
You did that?
okay,
Actually, on the outside, but yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's scary. Like this.
Turn it all the way. So, on the right hand. Do the pokey pokey.
You're on the left.
Okay.
Yeah, I basically.
This is good for me to see, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, thank you.
So my junk is away.
The jewels. Okay, so men and women have different placement for the obvious reasons. I personally like to go right in front of the hip bones,
That's
right,
fine too.
right where the ovaries sit.
All
right.
I feel a little-
They are symmetrical.
Yeah, that's true, so they can even
That's
top,
it.
yeah, it's so true. They don't get that whole. In my little.
It's true, like a perfect full pillow, so it's kind of like how when we took time to like touch the arm to respect the gender boundaries, that I feel safe. I don't feel vulnerable to your sexuality
Yeah,
at
those
this
two.
moment. Right, yeah, I trust you now.
Okay, so, all right, so I'm gonna show this fast
Don't
forward,
worry,
so
I
we
hate
did
food.
this. This is our private yoga client, they've done 50 minutes of yoga asana, and we put them through a therapeutic session, and now we're wanting to give them a little love, because we want them to keep coming back. And passive stretching, there's nothing like it, okay? So, the foot being up, I did show you, we could do this, you know, like that, I'm just doing fast forward. And then we stretch it a little bit deeper, and then we did proposing knee, and we went boom, like this. And then we did the vroom, 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 9 times, 9 or 11, it's just odd number, vroom, vroom, 9. And then we went here, and you can do some piriformis stretch. You can, or, you know, it's, depending on the person, it might be more like hip lateral, but this one will get the piriformis for those sciatica people, okay? You can do this, or you can play around with that. And then what's also nice, you guys, is you can actually give pressure on the hamstring here and on the IT band. And this feels, you cannot get this in Ekapada Raja Kapotasana when you're just doing it by yourself, like in the pigeon pose. And then we, I showed you guys that sequence where we rocked the hip. So the foot was placed here. Remember, for some people, that foot's not going to come as easily. So if that's the case, at the same time, you're kind of giving them a little help here. And then we did the rock. Rocking like a baby, rocking like a baby, just to loosen that up. And then you can come here and you become a cat and you do the paw. So boom, 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 cat, 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 cat. You could do a little stretchy screw. You could do a little boom, boom, boom. You could do a little. And then you come back here. This is fast forward, you guys. And you go. And then we can do the, you know, and then 9 times or 11 or 13, blah, blah, blah. And then we went from there and we did the pulling. Hip. Knee, ankle, and then chip, 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 toes. Boop, 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 boop. And then we did the other leg. So we're gonna do that again.
Hang on,
So
correct me if I'm wrong, didn't we do traction first and then we did the pigeon and then the back stretch? Correct me if I'm wrong, so for those of us.
oh yeah, we did.
So this was different.
Yes, okay. So thank you for
You
asking.
left off at traction, you said remember.
So I wanted to show you guys that hip stretch, but if you're doing, like, if your client, your private client comes into you, stretch them first. And then do the range of motion, and then the traction is last. Yeah. Range of motion, traction is last.
At first, we did the checking, right, where we just lifted and checked the legs and
Yeah.
feet, right,
Yes.
okay.
And we'll do that in slower motion right now on the other person.
You could go help them, they weren't there. And then
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, when she did traction last night, my ankles both
So we
like
already did
separated
one
right there a little bit. They didn't pop
Yes,
out or
right.
anything, but they,
Yeah,
yeah, is that
And
okay?
then where we ended,
if it
start
looks good,
the
yes.
traction, it'll.
I mean, your bones do come apart,
Go back.
but if it's too,
On the
you need
other
it to seal, if it
person.
feels like it's too
Since she
loose.
already gave
Okay.
and received
Don't push so hard.
partially, do you want to give?
But
so we can practice?
finding some amount of space is totally.
You just won't be
Okay,
able to.
Because I know.
You're on the- Okay, so you're on the person.
Pull my
No,
hip
you guys-
way out, so it would.
No, I think they've done it
Yeah.
before the.
I wouldn't pull it all
I
so
kinda
much,
have
so
that.
much.
That's why I decided
There
to
and
go
back.
back.
Because here's the thing, if your
Okay,
leg
now do you
is
wanna
like too
receive it?
loose,
Uh-huh.
you don't feel
Because
it.
we already did the whole
Uh,
leg. Not really one
Do you-
time.
No,
No,
they're most of these.
Okay.
Stretch it, so that you put your leg on stability.
Okay.
Cool.
But.
Okay, so you guys.
There's,
We're-
there should be some.
we're
because
right
there needs to
here.
be- Bones should move.
Gotcha. So does that mean I'm hypermobile? Because I've suspected it.
That's very possible. If your hips are coming out of joint
Yeah.
and socket. then it's-
Okay.
So I, you know, with that, kind of thing, I would suggest less stretching,
Okay.
more strengthening.
Okay.
Okay, you guys, let's start with the,
Okay.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, lighter.
Yeah, I'm putting that to you. Yes.
I love your pants. Those are so cute. You are.
You had found so.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Now everybody else. Now I don't. Did we push
I just know it's sold up like crazy.
Well,
I'm pretty bad at.
Whoever was the giver.
Oh, you did?
Oh, wow, that's.
Spider fleas and wasps. I think about those.
But we're-
Okay,
so
double of West.
Okay, so I. Okay.
People getting a bee venom?
Yeah.
Apparently some.
Really good. I don't know a lot of people that do that, but I don't think you could do it for work.
Bee venom for what?
So people are doing it for all kinds of like eczema. They're,
Apis mellifera?
bee venom.
What?
Yeah, injecting bee venom and joint pain. There's a whole host of other things.
But how do they get the venom?
I don't know, there's a
You
practitioner
take
where I
a
live.
scanner of a bee. Maybe you take the scanner.
Do you wanna?
Did you tell Dara, did you tell Dara about that, where you said the venom?
No, but I should. I
Well,
know, I don't know if there's someone here. Yeah, with my.
Let's try to remember.
Yeah.
After you touch people, is there a certain way you like to let out energy?
Oh, yes, well, I guess then we
Are we
can
gonna
have you
have
remind me that.
Yes.
At the end?
Okay.
That's so
'Cause I'm like,
sweet.
yeah, I'm seriously in energy.
She's like,
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm learning on.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
She's
like.
like,
Oh, yeah, good. I
on
believe
that
that.
side of- I kind of felt the same way, where I was like, okay.
Are you?
Anxiety.
Sorry, I'm just.
But it did
When
when
I on this, because when I get bitten. So with any kind of
I can't stop scratching and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And I know this actually feel better to scratch them.
So after you've done the foot,
It's nice to be able to.
the heel up, so you've already done this on someone.
Yes, last
Okay,
night, yeah.
and she's practicing on you right now.
Yeah.
And then you need a body practice on.
I
it.
have
Okay.
body, something's gonna help guide me.
Oh, here,
I'll come help you.
Okay, so let's be on the foot, working that area. So you're gonna come up with this leg.
I was so happy.
Do you wanna try the IT again?
Which one, the one in front of
Maybe
it?
there's.
By looking at the feet.
I did,
so
but
it's
I think there's some myself. Which it keeps to push here.
Yeah.
The curve is a little bit more violent. It's like you kind of slip.
You can't do this right now. You saw
Try to create that. You're feeling worse. Or you can look at someone else. Then once.
So help you, right? Throw that out.
Say it first. I need to like to stay because like so, yeah, that it's just like, I have like. I realize that it's I wanted to know if I was getting more. Yeah, so, you know, it's good to.
Love like that.
It's just nice to have that.
Yeah.
The fuel stabilization.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's what
it
it was.
felt like a valve very release on the butcher.
So- You can stay with
Yeah.
us, right? But since about it.
Some of them are pretty cheap too.
So after you've done a little foot love, then stretch the hamstring out, like actually take it forward.
That's so.
Almost like they can shoot up some lungs.
Yeah, but it feels good, it looks good. And then you can do the, this whole IT band / shin area stretch where you take the leg across the body 10 to 15 degrees. And I like to straddle, place a foot, and then give the hip a little bit of like, I'm pushing it back, like in. Is that good? You feel the stretch?
Yeah, we can even go more that way. if we want to.
Okay, and then you guys watch, when you're stretching it, they might not feel it until you flex the foot. And then it's like.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, there it is.
And it's like you're trying to help it so.
Oh my, oh wow, that's,
Okay. Now you
It's
can
like
do it,
good,
she'll tell
it's
you
like-
it's a little too much of that. Like,
yeah,
As soon as you
Hurts
start
so
to
good.
flex the foot, it got.
It really does. It
Yes,
hurts.
and then you go a little further.
it's one of those things where it's like,
Ah.
it doesn't happen very much. It's
Just to tell you how I feel.
Yeah.
Then hold it here for a minute or go.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm like, this is your-
Yes, you're not. Okay, so.
Yeah, that's the.
You want to, you don't wanna be hurt, you're beating yourself up. Yeah. You're like, and you go, fullest range of motions. Try to let me do the work. I know, it's so kind of right dog. Not dog, exactly, dead weight, I'm trying to help you, dead weight. So you make circles and then 91 or 290. As long as it's all. Okay, so at least that's how I teach you. Did you learn that?
We did like,
Abdominal work?
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Right?
Oh.
Where did she was?
Yeah.
It's not.
I'm getting sick, it's on 18. Oh,
Yeah, every.
I just my sister,
Yeah.
sausage, her skin, I'm like, is it my sister?
My daughter's 11. Cats.
Oh, that's.
I just have.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're making
How
the
many
circle.
did you say?
Yes. Oh, that
Yeah.
feels so good.
That did not feel good on Jason, so I couldn't try it.
I mean, that's actually.
It's just, Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Well, he just had a weird. Yeah, so that's. I thought he liked it. No, when I did it on.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, more angle. Well, just.
Right here.
Yeah.
And then do you slide down?
Or you can slide down, that actually feels good. Or but the energetically, you're like kind of pushing. Like that. You know what I mean? Like
More like
you're like,
here?
yeah, both, yeah.
The way I.
Even now, drawing
That part of my.
Would I recommend
Yeah.
you?
So-
I would not tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reaffirming.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
Oh, And you guys can try the piriformis stretch as well. area.
Here, oh, that's the.
Yeah.
Well, it can be, it can be either that. Is that what you're saying?
That's what my friend said.
Okay. We didn't know. Have we got? Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, that's where you lost. Oh, right there.
So after you've done the piriformis or glute booty stretch, then you could do what Shanti's done, you could do the little rocky root. The rocking, putting the foot on the other side of the knee, and then doing the little rock. Yeah. The rocking.
Yeah.
My kitchen sink.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I will never do that again.
My body is so much worse than. I used to just eat oil.
You're like me, like, okay, I'm gonna sit me.
I know.
Fun though, isn't it?
I'm gonna get sound effects out there.
Yeah, I feel 400 hours each training.
All the way down this arm, like a nerve stretch in a good way. Like where there's impingement and what you're at.
You know, it helps somehow, it works.
So.
It makes it fun.
Now, when I come up here, do I want to be more on your side or more on your back, like here?
Yeah, you can get like under, you could do anything. Sometimes what I like to do when I'm just at the ribs is to just focus on the chest, like I'm kind of opening up the thoracic spine or the chest, depending on, yeah, like what you're doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
my feet, but my work.
Okay. And remember, so what Shanti's doing to me, she's now gone from, I'm on the side, and she went from kind of more on the bottom, and now she's moving toward giving me mobility in the thoracic, in the rib cage part of the spine, and focusing on like opening the chest,
Oh, right, sure.
which is really nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so so what I'm doing is I have 1 foot on like sacrum area. And then going up and then walking both feet up. I've got the ball of my feet on the spinous erectus. Yeah.
Bring your grip up a little bit more. Just above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, talk to her.
How, does that feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just it's in the hub. It's like. Take that in your hair. Oh, that's what I did. Yeah, it was like, I just wanted to look it all in.
Time long.
Okay.
Yep. Now it cleanse.
You like
And
hard, yeah.
I'm gonna try to pull you out. Okay.
Or should I be off?
It's like that does not go there. How do you do that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do the knee and the ankle pull on the one side, and then you do everything on the.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna tell you this, do you wanna practice that real quick?
Yeah, go. How do
Okay, so scoop under each with both, yeah, like that, and then just pull me like a rag doll.
There you go. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally like a rag doll.
Okay,
Yeah, I want to-
Okay, so after you've done the stretching, yeah, that one's really good. You've done the kind of hip work. Then you could do the range of motion you guys don't worry so much. I mean, if you're just doing this in the context of a private, don't worry so much about like the order. I know I told you that. My teacher's pretty strict about that kind of thing. But in the context of like 2-3 hour sessions, that might be like what I do in a session, but don't worry too much. As long as you're giving the body movement, that's the most important thing. Like you're stretching the body, you're giving it range of motion, you're giving it traction. It's okay if you're a little bit out of order with that. It's not gonna be anything, okay? So I know that we've kind of been smish with the order of that, but don't worry, because we're gonna, so if you had, everyone's done this, the range of motion in the circles on one or both legs?
One.
Okay, so now let's do traction. Do you wanna practice that? Okay, so when you do traction, I'm gonna let Shanti practice. You're going to first focus on the hip. So she's gonna grab my ankle or using my pants, but I'm fine with the skin. And she's gonna focus all her energy at the hip, and pulling it as much as she can. Yeah, like she could give it even more. Yes. Yeah, that's good. There will be the moment where there's like that little bit of separation, and now I feel the relief. If she went a little less, I wouldn't feel the relief. So she's just right at the sweet spot.
And
Okay.
so I'm
And-
not using my arm strength. My arms are straight.
Oh yeah, thank you.
My arms are straight and I'm leaning back. I'm using my body weight. All of these things you want to use as little effort as possible.
Yeah.
So use body weight.
Yeah. And it should feel good.
To me.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll lean my head back. If you can't, if it's someone who's a lot bigger than you, you can lean your head back and you'd be surprised at how much more force that gives you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so now she went from the hip. You guys, at about 30 seconds, okay? Sometimes I don't have the energy on the clamping one to do more than that, but you just go as long as you can with the clamp. So she's gonna clamp right over my knee, and now she's giving traction to the knee. Yeah, right over the knee. And then all of her focus is on that knee, and she's squeezing and pulling, I know.
I understand what you're talking about now, Nick.
It's sore, isn't it?
It's inner thought.
It's inner thought, I know. I'm
But
telling
maybe
you.
if I like,
Your tongue out and give you straight.
it does,
Yeah,
This is where like, this is where skin on skin would be easier.
Okay.
Easier. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's
Oh, yeah,
easy.
that is, feels really good. Yeah. I feel like your grippiness of your feet just went, it feels so good. Yeah, it might be harder, but depending on the pants, sometimes it's harder to get that clamp. So you're gonna clamp the knees, and then after you've done the traction at the knee, then you wanna do the ankle. So you're clamping right over the ankle, you're focusing all your attention on the ankle, and then you're pulling at that ankle joint. And some people, you'll actually feel the little bit of space, not everyone. It's hard, isn't it? This one I literally am shaking my head. I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to get more adductor work. So after you've done that, then you can do the back and forth of the ankle joint, the range of motion.
Oh.
No, yes, I know. That's where I pop the most. Yeah.
You shaking?
Look at that. It's
Butterfly
I do the
shape.
same. Yeah.
She's like, lean back, relax. I'm like, I'm working on this one.
When y'all are, unclothed, then you can try it again.
Yeah,
And
not right now.
it's easier skin on skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt really good. I realized. That's kind of a nice now. I'll have to remember that. Okay, so then the toes, 9, 11, 13 on the toes, the range of motion. Some people's feet, you cannot get all 5 toes to do that at the same time, so you might have to do it separately, if that's ever the case. Yeah.
So make sure that you don't skip the pinky toe.
Yeah.
Shanti, you're always advocating.
Aww. I advocate for the
No,
toe
left
too.
behind.
No tail left behind.
So left behind.
Especially those.
Quality.
For us, can't wear those.
Is it that? It's,
Oh. So then after you've done toe range of motion, then you pull. You see what Shanti's doing? She's starting and then just kind of pulling all the way down.
You've got yogi toes.
Long
There's
finger
a space, there's space in between them. I don't like, you know.
You got wet, West.
yogi
She's got these.
Mine are profit.
I don't know, point, I got pointer toes,
That was like.
yogi toes.
There's so much space in between each of my toes. It's like a mile. Any questions before moving into the other side? Did you massage it?
Yeah, she is.
No,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I did this while standing.
That's
Put your toes under, and you just
Self.
twist something.
You know how when a yoga teacher walks in your class and every time you can tell?
And it bends your toes.
I love that. Like not even, but before they even practice, you're like, I already know you're a teacher.
Okay, one of my yoga teacher friends. He'll taught her class in Santa Barbara and he. In his class.
And what?
Pete, the singer showed up in his class. Who was it?
It'd be cool. I love Pete. I used to listen to her all the time.
I could feel it now.
Cool.
Did you listen to her?
I was like,
Yeah.
how would you hold your composure?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
How tall are you?
Yeah. My neighbor.
Pretty good. I feel pretty good about that without being on block. Sometimes if the person's so tall.
Yeah.
I'll like, I can
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just.
Okay.
Scoop him in, put him right underneath my diaphragm.
Yeah.
So little does he know.
This year. Was her first concert.
Want to see something.
Did it feel, okay, do I feel small, does it feel natural? Yeah.
If you're on the other leg, you can, did you do the, oh, you guys are, I see the art. Y'all switch? No, but y'all switch. Okay. But have you tried this part? Okay. Try, start.
I wanted to do this while I was watching you, so I could.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing the reverse order.
Oh, yeah.
You just said the order didn't matter as much, I thought.
But I do want you to get a chance to look at it, because then we'll do that on the next side. I'll show you the-
Okay.
But it's a good thing, because that's perfect. Just one leg, then you'll have to do the other one. See all live together?
Yeah.
Okay, just remember which leg. I actually did the whole set on this.
You just did it faster.
I just didn't do this one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get the whole thing done.
Yeah.
Just how this thing works.
So remember, after you've taken the leg about 90 degrees, you can give it a full stretch. Like now she's going to stretch the actual hamstring. And you can give it a goodie.
Oh,
You
that's
can go
awesome.
more.
So, Lee, something for, back to what you said about reference.
Yeah.
It makes a difference, because when we all started kind of chatting, I asked her, I was like, is yours changing? And she said, oh, I can feel mine. It's just hard, it's very hard, that's stand and sit.
And range of motion is a lot.
That's a good thing.
That's not.
Oh, this would be awesome.
You guys, getting that passive hamstring stretch is golden. So different than stretching your own hamstring, even with a strap. You'll experience it and then you'll want to give it.
Can I mention about the feet thing? Like,
Yeah.
if your person has, if their foot is kind of angled in like this, when they're
like this.
Mhm.
When you flex it, you wanna kind of flex it towards the pinky ball mound.
Mhm.
This way to flatten it out as if she's standing straight on the floor,
Mhm.
rather
Yeah.
than going with that. Okay,
Yeah.
so you
Yes.
try to flex it so that the foot is flat.
Hey, you guys, one of the things I often
It'll feel
teach
better.
with the strap, I have this one when we're taking the foot at an angle. You're
Yeah.
referring to when you're at an angle,
Mhm.
or both really. But the foot can have that tendency to kind of in with that thing when it goes like that.
Yeah.
I actually will tell people to take the strap and let the strap, like they're pulling it more toward, you know, just like what you're doing. Yeah. Along the stretch.
Okay, so
Yeah,
now,
because then I feel it all the way along the bunions along this. Do that with it, yeah.
okay, so
If I need, I have a.
you feel that, did you feel that fall? Too much? I can support your knee with my hand right here.
You know, it's that I feel the pull on these lateral meniscus. So kind of.
Are you sure?
Yeah. That's
So again, too.
Right.
And you don't even have, if it feels awkward to cup the arm like that, you can just let it be like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes,
That's much better.
yeah. That's why I want something that's soft. Feels good.
Okay.
It's like what's creating right here.
The adrenaline crystals leaving your kidney. Yes. You're so welcome, you know why, that's your down dog muscle.
It's just.
Your ass is fine, remember to get that yesterday?
I didn't know she was deep.
Like side.
His shoulders not.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, just like.
Nice you can break it.
All the meat.
You can,
My rest too.
go, you could go like actual on her, yeah. On her foot.
I'm kind of pulling the arm a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the other thing.
Yeah, you're fine.
What if yours tighter compared to the other side? It's so tight. It's so tight. Sure, I mean, you really need to do some yoga.
Allie, she's wondering what is this tenderness like right here? Ma'am.
Yeah, so, be more gentle or just less stretch. Does it feel like a good stretch or a bad stretch?
It feels like it will be a good stretch, it just needs a minute, so I don't know
Okay.
what I need to do to support it. It feels like it just needs to be opened up more,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's just like been so closed for so long
Yeah.
that it's just like, oh God, what are we doing? You know? Oh my gosh, okay, yeah.
And just kind of for it. And she might be feeling, it is kind of nice to break down nerve stress. Yeah, like if you're, you can actually take the ribs and move them that way.
Oh my God,
Get
that's
some
amazing.
more of the opening.
God,
Yeah.
Well, let me show you guys this one, because this is a great one. So on the twisting part, you can be encouraging watch me real quick. I'm just gonna show you something on my body. So when you're stretching someone on the side, there's many ways you can stretch the side, right? Or supine twist or simple twist, right? And we're working on stretching, we're doing like a twist. I can focus on stretching the spine in this way, or I can lay all the way on my side, take my arm up and just focus on stretching this chest pec line of the brachial plexus nerve line. And if that's the case, you can actually push the ribs forward. If I'm doing this in a class, like a yoga class, I'll tell the person, now face the other direction. Let your pec face that same side and you're staying here. Sometimes I'll have people give themselves this assist where they actually like pull the rib toward and stretch this chain. So that's another thing you can offer them. So you'll take, just like we did the foot like at the sacrum, you actually take the foot on the top of the rib and to create that. And that's a goodie. That can get this whole line.
That is something I also, you can also do something similar in your twisted deer posture.
Twisted deer.
It's squash this off. Slush, I can never say that one. Slush it. So you're here, we're doing this, and then you take your own ribs, your hand on your ribs, and you pull here.
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
pull,
yeah.
and then you get down into the fascia of your abdomen. You take your hand right
Okay,
here, and you're twisting and you pull
Oh, yeah.
forward and down.
Oh,
So it's another way to get that same
yeah.
self assist.
So I have.
This has changed so much, because even this morning or last night, I was doing the IT stretch. And I just brought my own hip down while it's in the air, so there isn't anyone assisting, but that action alone changed it. So thank you for everything you're sharing.
When you were doing your own.
I think it was just last night, just coming home and, I didn't get that one, so I was curious what that action would do. And you can do it without, all of this, so you said you can just be your own best friend.
Yes.
But what's great about this is
Moaning
like,
in your own arms.
you're learning how to do it for yourself, but then you're in class and you're telling everybody to get in this posture, you can tell them, teach them how to do this for themselves too.
Yeah, like we don't have
So-
to touch them, they can touch themselves.
Yeah,
And you don't feel safe when, when it's new or something.
so,
Okay, so.
or
does
because you
that-
can't go and touch, you can't do
Okay,
that.
so I have this fun little sympathetic nerve reaction that happens like right there, and it's like I'm having a heart attack.
One
or
to three.
whatever.
So I
And
can't.
it's that nerve.
I thought it
Yeah.
was-
So if I help that,
Oh, yeah.
because it totally to the side, but yeah.
First one to do.
So did
Okay.
you see how to do it
You
yourself,
just
or do you
out.
wanna
Here,
try it?
Yeah, let's
Just
try that.
Okay.
Here, let me go on the other side.
Okay, I'll roll all the way into the pine twist.
So this way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but I wanna take it under our head and switch. So actually, now this pec, like your pec muscle and breath is stay facing forward, and you can reach around and like, you're not letting it move. Yeah, so it's like you're doing this to yourself, and then.
Oh.
And if you're someone assisting you, or you're getting it from someone else, you're helping that process. And so I can also, you can also take the foot at the rib, remember, and do that same thing.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
Oh, my goodness.
Piece off.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you don't even have to sort that right, so put on here, but that's for when you do it yourself. Now you just receive it.
I don't know when it started or why, but I like to be there when I just.
No, no, that's it. Then. I'll just stop the pressure. Yeah, good job.
I guess higher in there.
When you grab a hold of the elbow, when you grab a hold of the elbow, and it changes, it feels so good.
Wow, we're getting relaxed.
Not for you, no.
Oh.
Separate from all of them. That's what you mentioned in that one.
You're pretty bad. Lifted the whole household up.
Sorry for my cold earlier, but I don't feel so guilty because your armpit's warm. Feels good for me and good for you. Warm my foot, cools your armpit.
There you go. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, geez. Yeah, just a stretch on the arm. You definitely have, you know, some tightness. Just the arm line, yeah.
Way over.
I won't say after today. How much makes it.
I'll use your heel.
Yeah, you wanna try that one? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so trying that on you a little
Yeah,
bit.
so you can put the heels in the arm.
First, I wanna know how to do it. Hold on. let's put it on.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm gonna go pee.
Yeah.
That's life changing, dude. Yeah.
And how.
Yeah, that's life changing.
If you like track, you know, you just.
There.
The mind is.
Is that?
Just because then you're giving all the track. Well, so you can actually like that, so that this is the traction. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's. You're doing a good job. Good job, good job, good job.
They just told me because
Yeah.
It is really hard as much tightness, that's the left side, just.
Oh.
Can you feel the difference?
Oh, you're going.
Oh.
I can't. look at the-
These will all be so good for Mr.
my life is.
With him in your life.
No, well, yes.
You.
This,
Oh,
this, I was like.
this is one of her clients that I saw yesterday first time. She thought that she,
And I-
he's a private one.
When I first started with him, I was like, you know, I did stuff already, so he was like, now I have my wife and my toenails, and I was like, you should put conditioner in your hair because you rub your head, you know, so
He has like a whole self-care routine just to prep for yoga class.
So cute.
It's so like, I washed my feet. I was like, good job.
bye. He says he's so conscious that he eats a very light meal before coming in for practice.
Oh, really?
He's not, I appreciate, I told Jake,
Okay.
that he never said how much he appreciates
Huh?
the light.
Well, yeah, he 30 seconds.
Yeah. A little.
Hey, I love.
And now it's like.
When you're on.
You can even straighten it.
Yeah, it's like,
You get it with
She just did the thing. Now she just got like, well, everybody has something. Yeah, you can even, yeah, it's weird. And like, so you push it, put that one down. Yeah.
Okay.
There it is. You feel the same? You feel it more here? Or, yeah, all that whole over. There's always a sweet spot on different stretch, or you might have to go a little less or a little more to the.
Is that gonna be okay, or do you want to-
I'll check it on the other side.
To get that like
Yeah.
sign.
So maybe it's too much.
It's not. Oh, this way. Is it on the side? A little bit harder.
A little harder, okay. You might, in my foot or in my hand?
Your hand.
Hands is here.
The feet.
Okay, so not so much.
Right on the figure.
Okay, or no? Right there.
How's that? I'm just giving her love. You felt that with your foot, probably.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Feel good?
Yeah, we did this one, we did one. That's because the wall.
Is it better with my foot on thing or constant pressure? Oh, okay.
That one might be too far. To do with the heel so far. Just doing that. Yeah. Nice. Can I show you how to do this in a way that's less for you? Okay. You grab under the legs and now you're sitting.
No, I get you, I do. It's fun. We gotta be even. Evenness.
Try and find a way.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's, we're about to be in this position for a really long time.
Why?
Without
Oh, right, okay.
So later.
Too much pressure.
Yeah,
Is this?
exactly.
Oh,
And you kind of have to find the right portion for your body.
Right.
And your body, like, it might be tucked in, it might be put either. off.
Yeah, the arm's good.
Trying to find your
arm
arms
is
good, and then you're just getting
Yeah.
her that little
So
bit
maybe
of the
work
sacrum
harder.
coming off the ground, and then you're. Are you picking up at all? Or do I need to- No, you gotta get higher,
Okay,
cause you have to be
no
able to
arm, but a
get
little bit
the.
harder with the feet.
the right here.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Cause you're gonna want your straight back. Okay, yeah, like straight up.
Yeah.
I don't know. How close is it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Good. Well, I just think if we go to the floor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that works too, yeah,
Five's good.
yeah. Fine, response, I didn't do anything wrong.
What about?
Did you get over it?
It's,
So you guys are working.
Alan, is it safe to like separate the vertebrae like that?
Yes,
Okay.
great,
Okay.
very nicely, you can.
Okay, your ankles.
Like this.
Okay.
So Ally, we were just trying by walking on my calves, but without a blanket. You take the blanket out from underneath.
Thank you.
When we stepped on my calf, it made my knee really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
Do the lower back.
Yeah.
Do the lower back.
Just because that's where, yeah.
I don't, like, I don't know what to say.
Usually step on the couch, okay, in that position. Yeah, I might like to see like that.
So.
I was thinking about elbow.
Okay.
Elbow. Good.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, you guys, did we do all this stuff on the other side, including the traction and range of motion?
Yes.
Is that a yay for everyone?
Well, we changed people because I showed them what I was doing.
Okay.
in armpit, so.
But you did it on the other side.
Yes, yeah.
The most important thing is I want you guys to have gotten the experience of the traction, range of motion, piriformis stretch, side body stretch, chest and twisting. Okay, cool. All right, everyone's full attention, please. Okay, I want to hear from you guys in terms of just questions, and then I want to hear if you have a client or you have something that you're curious about, like as it relates to any therapeutic aspect of the body. You're like, I have this client with blah, blah, blah. How would you deal with that in any of the contexts? You know, that kind of thing. If you have anything that's like pressing and you're curious about. And then we'll go from there. You
So-
actually work on my client, so you might already know, but on the left foot, on the top of the arch,
Yes.
is a collection of tension
Yes.
that has since lessened,
Yes.
but used to be so sensitive to the slightest touch and
Oh,
pressure.
wow.
And the tuck under, and then all of that was a real delicate procedure. So we do so much with feet. I was just curious to share, you know. I think the reason that he has that excess tissue that's built up is because he was born with his toe is like this on that foot. And I think it's the body coming in to protect itself. Kappa is coming down to protect. I think it's something that's happened over years of him not having that pinky. That's just my theory, is maybe the body start to, like the pinky actually does a lot. You said pinky level, I'm like, yes, because if you don't have a pinky, the body's immediately gonna compensate. Like I broke my pinky toe and then I was like, oh my gosh, why does everything hurt? Like my body just immediately went into a compensatory pattern, like without me even, I didn't even realize it was compensating so much. And you know, it's the other side that's gonna feel it. And so I think that on that foot, his body's probably, yeah, exactly. His body's probably maybe laid down tissue there. Because it will lay down bone, like there will be calcification sometimes, the body coming in to protect itself, or it will lay down fat, you know, like think of Dowag or something, or, you know, I used to have a really bad one of these, that's just the body coming in to say, I got you, it's okay. But everything you're doing is working, and you can even massage it. I was massaging it and it was really good for him.
I have a question.
Everything he's doing, all the stuff.
I was just wondering, is this type of massage, it seems very sensual. Do couples do it a lot? Like, is it, okay, here's what I'm trying to say. I know, like I told you, haven't never gotten a massage, but the rubs, like the rub deep tissue and all that, I've heard what it can help and all these things that it can do. Is this as effective? Like for just like, as like a deep tissue massage, like for the body, is it as effective?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that, like the work that I do, I'm very biased, but I feel like people get like a yoga class, a chiropractic adjustment, a massage,
I feel like it's
all in one.
that someone's doing it for you.
Yeah.
Well, and Tiffany too, it's about intent maybe as well, healing versus.
Well, that's not, I know, the reason I asked is because last night I felt it felt arousing kind of.
Yeah,
And then today I thought, I was like, I'm just gonna ask. I
yeah,
mean, it just seemed kind of,
yeah.
it was not
I think we
bad.
have a lot of, you know, impressions with touch, that a lot of things can come up like that. And yeah, everything is sexual. Anytime two things are coming together, it's sexual
Yeah.
energy. I think we think sexual energy, we think gender, we think, you know, have all these associations, but you know, everything is sensual in my experience. And, you know, yeah, everything's shocking.
Well, not just sensory, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's okay that we allow that energy to come through in an appropriate way.
Okay.
I can say from where we come from, I had actually an aversion to yoga and aversion to stretching and everything before Melanie and I came together. Because I had had negative experiences where I didn't know what I was doing. I hurt myself. I went to really active yoga classes where I felt badly about myself and I hurt myself pushing myself too hard. And I just pushed away the entire thing. And so when we initially got together, I knew what she did for a living. She's trying to help me through, you know, stretches. And I would get angry and afraid. You know, I don't understand how this hurts. And it caused a lot of tension in us, you know, and now we've come to a place where it's a communication between us. And so I think, like, I've been shocked at how transformative it is. Just that very, like, look, we were laying in bed last night and I was just rubbing her stomach. And like exactly kind of what we were doing today. And it's just, it's like, it has transformed a lot of things, which is why, like, if you'd have found me 2.5 years ago, no fucking way would I be sitting here. And that's true right now. I told her last night, I'm like, this is not what I do.
I can tell.
Because it's like, I have seen that transformation.
How great it is,
I
yeah.
think it is amazing, essential enough. It is pure communication.
Wow,
So,
that's great.
I don't
Thanks
think
for
any of us
sharing.
have been in this room, except then 2.5 years.
Is this when you wanted me to remind you about the energy clearing or later?
Oh, later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what comes up for me when I get in this is how much I love, just the love, like how the cells in the body just love, you know, and they just do their job. And I really enjoy, because you know, like you said, it can go in all these ways, but this like strong middle of like, we're more than a body. You know, like there's this, like, I'm here for your soul. I'm here to hold that, to like hold space for it.
Yeah, that's
To
your
express,
intention.
however. Yeah, I think so. A friend, a real companion. So yes, there is that sensual, that love and support. But it doesn't have to be sexual unless you label it that way, you know?
Yeah, I felt mothered. I was like, oh, it feels so good to be held. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not brother, that you're okay for them.
Yeah, cared for.
But we just weren't really.
You know, having a part of this, you know, it's good to release, restricted or suppressed feeling like sexual, like what we would call sexual energy or sensual energy, because that is the Kundalini energy. It is a spiritual arousal as much as a physical. And when we're so repressed in our society and scared about experiencing that feeling in public or with someone that we're not supposed to, and all the beliefs and thoughts around it, it actually does dampen our capacity to feel the spiritual energy rising and it's starting to express. And so the more we ourselves start to soften, like allow, because when you start having spiritual awakenings, you will start experiencing orgasmic sensations in your whole being. You can experience it in your head. And it tickles and it feels good and it's like, but that you have to start to allow a space in yourself where that is an okay feeling to have, and that it doesn't necessarily mean intercourse, because you know where you don't even have to place any meaning on it, like, oh, Jade's over here, you know, doing this and I'm starting to feel this. Does that mean I have feelings for Jade? Oh, no, what?
No, you.
Yeah.
We have all been here.
Yeah.
And we make meaning out of a sensation. Rather than allow sensation to be.
Okay.
And this is what we've been practicing for the last, since we started this training. Separating sensation from meaning making and storytelling.
Okay.
Can we experience a sensation and just let it be its life, its prana, its shakti?
Okay.
It's healing. It knows what to do, and we are so in our head and making labels and stories and what we think about. This is not right. This is right. I shouldn't do this. What does this mean? What does it mean about me? Does it mean about them? Did they do something wrong? Did I do something wrong? All these crap thoughts. Or even good thoughts. Oh yeah, this means this. Oh, I'm having a spiritual awakening. Oh, that means I'm this. Oh, that means crap thoughts. They're thoughts. Thoughts are thoughts, good or bad. They're thoughts. They're not truth. Our minds cannot comprehend the magnitude of what is. And the more we label it, the more we put it in this tiny little box and distort it. All these practices, like our senses, we talk about, they go outward to experience the world, but they also, all of our senses have an inward component to draw us back inward. And so every sense organ, every sound, there's an outward sound, there's an inner sound. There's an outward seeing, there's an inward vision, inner light. Smell, taste, touch. And so when we start working with these vibrations of senses, and we're kind of working on touch this time, but they all go together. You're looking, you're feeling, you're listening, you're breathing. That it will, if you allow a sensation to be there and you start focusing on sensation, it can take you back into your inner experience. And then you're having an inner experience with another being as well at the same time. And that's where the magic happens. It's like I was saying, you're not here to heal them. There's nothing wrong with this person in your class or in front of you or yourself. It's presence. What's wrong is our thinking about it. That's what makes it wrong. Our label and our beliefs and our judgments and our opinions and our preferences all label it, this is wrong, this is bad, I don't like this, or this is good, I want more, clean. And that's how we create our reality. And then we live in that reality and then we complain about that. A self-made reality. So what we're working with here is so much more than just like, okay, I'm going to stretch a body, but this is what we did. So we start, we breathe, we soften, and we let sensations arise. Sometimes they're not pleasurable, they're triggering, they're painful. Sometimes they're incredibly pleasurable, and that could be painful, depending on your judgments and thoughts about them. Who knows? But the more we ourselves practice for ourselves, feeling sensation without label, without judgment, without categorizing it, the mind will want to because that's its nature. You say, oh, mind. Okay. Come back to sensation. Come back.
Bless your
Thank
heart.
you. Nice little heart. You just love categorizing. And you come back to your breath, come back to sensation. And allow, and the softer you become with the allowance of sensation, without clinging and without resisting the painful sensation, that presence, that allowance, there is natural intelligence. You're alive, that's natural intelligence. We're not keeping ourselves alive. We're tapping into the inherent intelligence and power of our body and of all of creation. And that's, it will do what it does. It will blossom, it will release, it will restore, it will thrive, it will heal, whatever is necessary. I mean, we're getting out of the way for that. We're pulling our judgments to get out of the way from that, pulling our thoughts about it. We're pulling what we think we can manipulate and let me fix her right here. Give me fixing. It's presence. Because I don't know if her shoulder pain is due to an injury, something in her gut that started here. Her inner intelligence knows what, like, the unfolding for that healing to occur, what will happen first, what needs to happen first. So my presencing into it, you know, and you get into your own, like, how do you hear, how do you listen, how do you sense? But it's, you stay with your presence, your breath, sensation. Subtle movement often will help. Subtle movement helps to feel, because sometimes we get too still and then we start to get stiff. And then we think, if I move, I'm going to lose something. So like sometimes it's like when you're tuning an instrument, you got to go out of tune to bring it back. If it's slightly out and you just can't quite tell if it's sharp or flat, you just go way out, and then you can bring it right back. So it's similar to when we're like working with the body and touch and movement and asana. These subtle little movements in yourself, in another, it helps just to kind of release the grip of your ideas of what it means or what's going on, and allow that energy to start flowing. Energy is movement. Movement is sound, vibration.
Shanti, like how you just said, it came up for me where it's like, to take your time to feel, like how we do in asana. You know, you don't just get into warrior two and it's mastered. Like every time you get into warrior two, and there's these little, like you said, this sensing. So if you put your foot, like, well, we stretch the leg. So the leg's right here, foot flex. I put my foot on the leg on the ground, but then it was like, oh, there it is. Like that's the place the foot goes. You know, it's just like just not being afraid to get comfortable, because once I'm comfortable, he's comfortable. Once that's how we sync. You know, so that was really cool, because that's what kind of came up for me, was like, how am I in asana? I give myself grace to feel and find what feels good.
Right, I like that.
When I was, when Shelley was laid down and I was putting my hand in her abdomen, I put my hand down and immediately she's fragile and small, and I felt like, I'm afraid to do this. And so I had to close my eyes, and it's something that's been happening during meditation where it feels like the edges are falling away. And so I had to kind of tap into that and let the edges of everything fall away. And then all of a sudden, this expansive feeling that I get when I sit in meditation started happening with my hands on her. I was much less afraid. She didn't feel small and fragile and like something I should be afraid to touch. And so just sort of allowing my energy to do what it's going to do, because when I had my eyes open and looking at her, that's why I was like, oh no. And so I had to close my eyes.
I could tell it. I didn't know that's what was going on, obviously, but I could definitely tell, oh, she found her groove or whatever. I could, yeah.
And then when I was down this last time, there's a lot of energy moving around this room, and there's laughter and there's release, and there's all of a sudden I started feeling very overwhelmed. I felt like an open antenna because I was just getting crashed from every side. I was like, these aren't my feelings, and I'm crying and I'm laughing at the same time. What is happening? And it was just a very that was a scary feeling for me because it felt very out of control. I just was getting waves of stuff hitting.
How did that end for you? Can you share?
I came back to my breath and just started following it in and out. And that, you know, I had to do a little self-talk. It's okay. These aren't yours to own. And they'll move through just like everything.
I feel that I really had to remind myself a lot in this, and we reminded each other when we were the receiver, hey, remember to breathe, because we could tell that we weren't breathing. You get, I don't know what it is, you start, I don't know what it, but
Started trying to hold on to
so,
something.
man, when you really connect the breath, that's what I was just telling her. It only happened a couple of times, but it was just like, I just really just sunk into my breath, and it just, everything really did fall away, and it was easy to hear, and just, I wasn't having to think about. It was, it didn't happen the whole time, but I could tell it.
Can I share again or? Yeah. Okay. Try to get it out right. I was just gonna say, see, like right now I'm closing my eyes. I know that a lot of people check out when they close their eyes, and I do too. But honestly, it helps me check in whenever I'm talking or whenever I'm doing anything. I don't know, it's better for me when I close my eyes. That works for me. And then also, I posted this on the forum last night. It was a little clip about what y'all were just saying. And as an empath, what she just described is kind of how, you know, I feel, you know, it feels like you're just getting everyone. It's just overwhelming and scattered and confusing. And it was saying, and yeah, that we have to remember, Jason was just telling me, we have to remember to own what's ours, to be with it, and to not take on what everyone else has. But back to what I just said, it was a therapist, and he was saying that they did a test, or what have you, however they do it. And they realized, because I always want to spit it out and tell you and write it down and get it out. It's important, or I don't want to forget it. It's exciting. But it was saying that, just like, okay, I'm ready. It was saying that, okay, that the therapist and the patient, that if they just sat there and did not talk at all, but they were just in alignment, like just there. She didn't have to teach anything, that it was more effective to just be in alignment, to be present. That got more, the patient, the client got a lot more out of it, healing. Mm-hmm. And then what she was just saying about the body, I don't want to lose it. Sorry, this is how I get sometimes. So not the body, hold on. That's just the same thing, basically, is what I'm trying to say is, y'all were saying with the body, yeah, it's the same thing. Like, it would be more effective for me to just sit here like this with her, if made sure I was actually present and there and had the intention, than it would be probably to do all the fancy things in my mind that I need to do.
Yeah, I want to comment on that. So for many years, I've been a therapist, and when I oftentimes go, what is that? What is that? I want to know. I want you to delineate this for me and put it in a masculine box, and please tell me what this is. Diagnose me through my treatment. And over the years, I have done that less and less and less and less and less and less and less. And now I just usually we'll just reflect it back onto them. I'll make sounds like, I'll be curious with them. I don't know. Or I'll just say block chi, block alone, because in the Thai tradition, and even what I love about Ayurvedic and Thai diagnostics is that the language is implying a completely different relationship with disease. So you could say you have kapha and the pranavaha shota. You have earth and water in this tissue layer of the body. It's not like, oh, you have bronchitis, you have laryngitis, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you have this thing in this tissue layer. It's like, you have blocked chi. Your wind is not moving in the body. Like, you know, it's like, this is what I say almost all the time. It's like, block chi. And I usually say it in an accent. I'm just like, block chi, block lung. You know, the wind is, and then they don't say anything, right? I don't say, oh, well, you know, I could say, well, you know, your left leg is, and you know, your right hip, and, you know, I noticed it, and what I'm doing here is I'm connecting the bilateral, blah, 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 blah. That doesn't help anyone. No, it only, if anything, perpetuates my own egoic understanding of what I think I know. And so I'm not gonna tell people what I know. Actually, I used to teach anatomy in my teacher trainings. I teach less anatomy now than I ever have. I used to be like, this is this bone, this is this one. Now I just forget all of that. And I look at the body in a mechanical way. And I'm not saying it's not relevant, because I did learn all that at the time, but now I forgot it all so that I can be more present, less delineating, less trying to diagnose, and more just in the experience of freeing up the prana, which the body has the inclination to do anyways.
So how, okay, how do we fix the block chi? Is it just intention? Or are we just focusing on
Well,
it? Or is it just whatever intuitively?
I mean,
feels
yoga
right?
is helping
Yeah.
the block
Oh, yeah,
chi.
yeah.
I mean, within like body work,
Okay,
there's so many ways you do that as well. Like,
Okay.
I mean, in traditional Thai, we're working with the sen lines. We're working with the specific lines of the body, and I work along those lines
are they
to
the same
free
as
up.
the meridians and acupuncture?
They're
or-
not, but
Okay.
a lot of people say that.
Okay.
We'll use those lines, but the sen is like noodle. It means noodle in Thai, but it also means passageway. It also means there's multiple meanings of sen, but when we access the sen in Thai medicine, we're accessing the blood, the lymph, all of the channels, the subtle system of the endocrine system, which is the subtle channel. We're also accessing the tendons and anything that's noodle-like,
Okay,
so ligaments.
gotcha, okay.
And this is from, I'm just telling you from this perspective, this is like what the sen is. But learning that, I mean, maybe one day I'll come and we'll do like a thorough Thai training,
Yeah.
where we go a little bit deeper, but yeah.
Awesome,
Or we can
okay.
come to
Well,
you.
What I'd like to share just in, recently discovering somatic therapy, like speak therapy, is just the awareness in your body. Like, my therapist will say, so where do you feel anger in your body? Cool, feel it in my jaws. Okay, how can we move that through? And for me, like, I visualize red, I guess red is my finger. And she'll say, okay, she'll have me hold my inner child. Like the mother Amanda can hold the baby Amanda that's feeling angry that she doesn't have a voice. And just breathe and be aware of that. And just that, for me, is enough to let it go. To get back to the earth.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. You can inquire and say, well, what does it feel like to you? What do you think it is? And just keep reflecting back for them to go through the process.
What came up for me was, I don't have to fix it. I can let it be there. And then by greeting it, get to know it and be curious about it.
What came up for me is that she really that she needed it to be released. But she had told me earlier, and then, but it just was really, I mean, it was really hard to not. Because I stopped doing everything else that we're supposed to do, and I just massaged her, and it just, I mean, it's what she needed, so.
But thank you for trusting that. You met something
Yeah.
and greeted it,
Yeah,
and what you did was what was necessary,
Yeah.
which is why there's like that divine disobey.
yeah,
I
because.
call it divine disobey, and it's like
Yeah.
warrior 2 has to be like this.
Yeah.
But if I did this,
Yeah.
and hallelujah, bells were ringing in my ears.
Yes.
That's what needed to happen.
Yeah.
So guess what? You
Yeah.
know, I just, yeah.
So, because we're friends and yesterday, the veil of separation, whatever between us kind of disappeared, because I've gotten in tune with each other, so that it's easy, it's not a problem. But then if it would be with like a coworker or something, but I would still feel it probably, or I'd still like, I'd probably know it, or maybe see it, but yeah.
That was a beautiful way to describe what it feels like to get in sync, to not be thinking,
Oh, but
to
then
just be present with each other in this kind of relating. Yeah, that was really beautiful.
the more we gain capacity to hold all the parts of our own experience, the more when you're feeling hit by everybody else's stuff, it doesn't hit. It's present and all that you can work with is your own experience in that, and every moment is an experience to work with yourself. Because whether you're getting triggered in some way by somebody else or your own thought or your own body is triggering you, they're all your opportunity to build that capacity to be with what is in myself. Because even when, say you come in with all this anger and it triggers in me, I could say this is mine and that's yours. But the truth is, I'm experiencing something, and what I'm experiencing is mine. What I experience is mine. There is no separation. There is no your energy, my energy, and they're separate. As soon as we're here, it is one. It's immediately affected. That's all of life. And so whatever I experience, and this is just my perspective, you can take it or leave it. This is the way I operate, and we all are going to operate differently, okay? And what I love about this group is that we're expressing new ways of experiencing ourselves in life. And we do it differently at different times in our life. But one way that I have worked with building a capacity to be with big things, big energies, is that when I'm somewhere, I don't delineate. It's like, if I'm experiencing, it's for me to experience here. Even if it seems like you brought it. I could blame you, or then I could get mad at you and shut you off because I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Oh.
I don't like what I'm feeling right now because of this interplay of energies. So sometimes that means I need to remove myself. Sometimes it means I need to dive in. Sometimes there's no answer for how I need to deal with it in that moment, except own my own experience and be with it in some way. And sometimes we have greater or lesser capacity to be with it than other days, in other moments, in other circumstances. But that is something that I work with a lot. And if it's helpful to you, you can use it to yes, there is your energy and there is mine, but there is always an interplay. And the more I become okay and I stop telling the stories about what this sensation means, just sensation. There's tightness here. There's heat here. Then that changes things. And I have learned for myself a huge amount of capacity to be with strong emotions and strong circumstances that I used to crumble in the face of. And now it's just because the thing too is that if you walk in with a certain energy and my particular, I look at it like chemistry, like, acid and oil or water and, sugar and different chemicals react differently. Not good or bad. It's just, some chemicals you put together and they explode. So you just don't put those two together unless you need an explosion. And sometimes we need an explosion to break through a mountain or something. So sometimes we need blockages. Blockages are not bad. Sometimes they're necessary and they're helpful.
It makes me think of when Jade shared about the gold that you find at the bottom of the whirlpool or the Vasana. Anybody remember that? So like you have the mental vasanas, and you think about a river runs downstream, but on the banks of the river, you might find the water going in the opposite direction. And then it has this cycle back into itself. So there's this natural whirlpool, which is where they mine for gold, or they pan for gold, I should say. So in the swirl, the out of flow or stuckness, like all the leaves and feathers and all the gunk gets caught up in there, that's where the gold's found. So it makes me think of that really the obstacle
Is the way.
is the way, is the goal, or, whatever.
The stoic principle, the obstacle is the way.
Well, it's because it's also how you perceive it. You perceive it, that's what you get. You seek and ye shall find. You see it and you're like, crap, I gotta work through this.
Exactly.
Or you see it and say, oh.
That reaction, but.
Okay. And you get to decide, you get to have free will to play.
And
With
sometimes
yourself.
you don't wanna hamper ball, sometimes you just wanna go fish over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is perfectly fine. We give ourselves,
That station.
you know, freedom to be as we are,
Yeah.
to be where we are.
The question, do you guys want to do more Thai, or do you want to start doing some yoga asanas to assist the specific poses? We can assist restorative, active poses, we can assist, or we can learn more Thai assists.
I personally.
Should we do a blind pose? You want a breath?
Well, I would like. I like this, the yoga assists now for me,
Okay.
because right now I'm tired of here in my hands.
Okay.
And so, that would be nice.
Okay.
But that's-
I would like a break to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Do you, right?
I would like a
I
break.
I can
too.
do a,
Think about it more deeply and then we'll get back.
we'll do a 10-minute break, you can get a little snack or something,
Oh, yes,
in the bathroom, you can use my bathroom in the house as well. Please don't let Ruby outside. She's got some major, cuts on her abdomen and we're trying to keep her from moving. What happened? She tried to jump a fence and she completely sliced her abdomen.
Does she need some abdominal work?
Not yet. Are you putting silver gel on it?
Huh?
The solid silver,
Yeah.
colloidal
Yeah.
silver gel?
I have the gel, I have the.
Man, it will just, it'll seal up stuff just like that.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Oh,
seriously, my dog has
Do you
a
think it
giant.
would work if it's just the liquid and not the gel?
I mean, I don't think it would hurt.